Uh, can you, when you speak to me, uh, more more slowly, okay?
Great. Yes. So we are now live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to OST Live, a weekly broadcast on blockchain, token economies, and branded tokens built on OST. Simple Token, also known as OST, is a public blockchain platform that allows businesses to launch their very own branded token. And today we're going to cover some of these token economies with some of the projects from the Alpha 3 challenge. So the challenge was to build a proof of concept using OST APIs, wallet features, and OST's blockchain technology. So everyone, welcome to OST Live.
Hey.
Good to be here.
Thanks.
So we'll go one by one. Let me just do a screen share with the website. Let me pull that up, and we'll have each one of you please just introduce us, give us your name, what's the name of your project, and here we go. You should all be able to see the screen. So let's start off with so Kid Token. Let me see if Kid Token's here. I think he might be running a little late, so we'll come back to that. So really simple store with Drew. Drew, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and really simple store?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Drew Thomas, and really simple store. It's kind of a side project or a small project. There's just a handful of stores on it, and it's simple e-commerce. So it's if you don't want the complication of Shopify or Squarespace, you can sign up. And for the alpha challenges, I saw this come up, and I saw the opportunity to add a token economy, not for actually buying and selling the products, but for stores to sell each other's products. So the whole idea is that as a small time maker, someone who's trying to earn extra money on the side, you can pop up one of these stores very simply. And now other stores or people you know from social media or other people, craftspeople that you work with can sell for you as well.
Great. And I think this was a good one. So essentially other stores can sell your product, and essentially they get some tokens in exchange for it. Right. So Drew, where are you based out of? So I think it's pretty great that we're all from different parts of the world and we're coming together on this one project.
Yeah. I'm in Austin, Texas, USA.
Great. Nice. And then just for reference, I'm from Southern California. And let's move on to the next project. So we have Futured. Tyler, can you discuss a little bit about where you're from and then discuss Futured?
Yeah, sure. So I'm actually in Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA as well. And I'm a founder and a computer engineer. I've spent most of my background in work experience in supercomputing. I've been interested in economics for a long time, and I've really liked working on blockchain stuff for the last few years. My concept is really a proof of concept in two ways, where it's more of a test bed than anything else. I'm working on a pretty large content creation platform that's meant to let users deeply engage their niche by using blockchain-based quality filters. So the idea is to limit spam and kind of garbage comments and really all the kind of cruft that builds up on the internet that keeps people from really deeply engaging and writing longer comments, really like putting meaningful content on the internet, So that's the motivation behind Futured. Futured itself was kind of a cool idea where it's discussing up and coming tech topics, in biology and holographics and cool things like that. And that's something I've been interested in researching for a very long time, and so I can write good content on that as a publication. So that's kind of where that came from.
Great. So Futured, you're tokenizing a magazine, which is pretty great. And we'll move on to the next one. Let me screen share it. So this one is with Tyler from Firmament. Tyler, can you give us some background about yourself and where you're based out of, and then explain Firmament?
It's actually Stefan. I'm from Germany, Düsseldorf. And I work as a product lead, and I needed a way to reward my team for things they're doing. There's no official way of doing it here. So the thing I did was I built a bot for Slack that allows people on the team to reward other people with tokens. That was first built just on a database. And when I discovered OST, I decided it should be on a blockchain. I mean, there's no value behind the tokens I had before, but now on the OST blockchain, there is some kind of value. And for the challenge, I made it into a real product called Firmament, which you can just inject into your own Slack account, and everyone on that account can now tip each other small amounts of the token. Right now, the project is just about tipping. You can buy the tokens on the website, which is in beta right now, but I hope when we're going to the mainnet, that will change.
And Stefan, I think this is great. So you're essentially bringing a token that Slack is just a use case for it, and you can allow tipping to other team members, or you can check your balance just by replying to a Slack bot. So yeah, great projects here. Next we have Survey with now this is Tiago. Tiago, can you give us some background? Where are you based out of, and can you explain Survey?
Yeah, sure. So, hey everyone, my name is Tiago. I'm from Portugal, from the north of Portugal, Porto, and I've built Survey, which is an online platform to create surveys and reward the responders with the Sway tokens that can be used to purchase items, exchange tokens, or create other surveys. And my main objective was, since I was developing a lot of different products, I wanted to have product validation on all of them, and it's already difficult to get people to answer your questionnaire. So I wanted to have a way to reward responders with some kind of token. And survey was to create a way to incite more feedback after launching the survey and reward users that completed.
Great, and you describe it sort of as a better type form with rewards for surveys. And lastly, we have Alexi, which also goes by the name Alex. Alex, where are you based out of, and can you tell us about your project?
Hi everyone, my name is Alex. I live in Russia, Voronezh, and for developer challenge, I'm built implementation based on 1S framework. This number one in Russia for enterprises activities every day, and this program for loyalty employees. These four companies that used service engineer in own staff, and for example, I take a real business is a net of gas station and
Great. So essentially, it's a loyalty program for different companies that can implement it, and they can reward employees based on each task. Alex, thank you for explaining that. So I guess I want to get into the process on how you guys created your proofs of concepts. So if anybody would like to go first, just walk us through briefly. What was the process from having this idea to using OST to create a token for your project?
yes, I'm working in companies that I'm working in company that have a net of gas station, and my colleagues is service engineers that then elimination malfunction on gas station, like damaged computers, programs, conditions, and other pump on the oil station, and to to make it better his works, this loyalty program is best choice. Best
Great.
choice.
Thank you.
And these service engineers, when damage malfunction, eliminate malfunction, and take a reward from company, and this reward they can use in other services like food service and car parking and other. And when I discovered OST in early this year, I thinking this is the best idea for implementation loyalty program.
Great. And you started right. You started with engineering, and now people can implement that concept to not just engineering but other companies as well. Drew, I think you're the only one here. I think it was also Kid Token that participated in the Alpha 2 challenge. So can you tell us about Drew? Can you tell us about your experience from Alpha 2 coming on to Alpha 3?
Yeah. So for Alpha 2, when it first started, I was figuring everything out, and it was just a big idea, and all these things were coming together. So we played through Alpha 2 and got everything done, and was very excited. And then Alpha 3 came about, and it was a chance to kind of refine and enhance that idea to where at this point I feel like it's a much more solid concept with all the different loose ends are getting tied up and that kind of thing. It was a really great opportunity to kind of start from something that I thought was just testing, OST on alpha and just trying something out to something that now I feel like can turn into a real business that can drive some revenue for me.
Great. And let's move on to the APIs. And I guess we'll just continue with you, Drew. Can you tell us about which APIs you use from OST and what you liked most about them? And then with that, I guess we'll combine it with wallet features. Which wallet features did you use and did you like?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we use pretty much all the filters or all the features of the API itself. I actually implemented a GraphQL server that wraps all of the OST APIs, and I know at least 3 of the successful Alpha 3 projects used it. So that's great to see some open source use. Yeah, we pretty much implemented everything. The platform behind Future is way more than just a magazine. It's really more like a medium style platform. It's a large scale effort with many thousands of lines of code. And so we really will have all different types of OST API calls. So like user to user, company to user, user to company. And so all of those are implemented, wrapped up in GraphQL functions that we can call. And I think it really started our use of OST with defining the economy actions. So what makes a viable economy where you want sharing of tokens between the company initially airdropping to the users being able to spend the tokens and earn tokens from other users, and then in the end ultimately cash out some of those tokens or swap them to another business a long time in the future. We found the APIs really easy to use. I mean, that was probably the simplest part of the project, to be really honest. I had the OST APIs up and running in about 20 minutes. And so that's pretty amazing to have a whole blockchain project where you don't really have to think about the actual hardcore implementation. You can just think about the actual economics of it and just go from there.
Great. That's pretty great that you got it up and running pretty quickly. Stefan, what about you? What was your experience with APIs and what are some wallet features with your project?
Yeah, when I first started using the API for Alpha 2, well, I actually started in Alpha 1, but for Alpha 2, I built the OSTKit.js JavaScript SDK because there was no JavaScript SDK at that time. I am still using it, but I didn't continue developing it as an open source project. I will come back to that though. Yeah, I used all the wallet features. I mean, someone found kind of a trick to do some of the things with the old version of the API, but that was pretty dangerous because you had to override users to get information about them. Yeah, but like everything that happened that you needed just was there in Alpha 3. I like that a lot. It's like in the early days of Google Mail, we always said you just have to think about a feature you need and you will get it. And yeah, the OST API looks pretty much like that.
Great. So you were actually part of the earlier alpha challenges.
Yeah.
Great. And we'll move on to Tiago. Were you part of the earlier challenges?
I was not. I just started with the Alpha 3, so it was all new for me. Survey is built on Ruby on Rails, so I used the Ruby gem, and it was very, very fast to implement it since most of the calls are already mapped, and it was very easy to get going. And of course, for me, it was all new, so there was no difference between the wallet features or any other call. It was all the same for me, but it was pretty easy. And I think, like Tyler mentioned, I think one of the best things is that you get like a sense of immediate feedback, because when you're implementing, you can see things happening and you can check it on OST Live, and it's pretty great to be able to develop with that kind of speed.
Great. And then lastly, we have Alex. Alex, what's been your experience with using the APIs?
I'm using API, and it's for me it's very easy, and safety team quickly answer in GitHub. I use all function. It's for ledger and sending transaction and list users, airdrop, full of function, and I think it's very interesting.
I think it was cutting off there for a bit, but great. And then great to hear that most of you found it pretty straightforward and easy to use the OST APIs. And Drew, I think we didn't get to you. So Drew, could you tell us about your experience with which wallet features you used and the APIs?
Yeah, I think I'd kind of reiterate that same sentiment. I mean, I spent a lot more time thinking about the mechanics of the economy, much more than actually implementing the API, which is really simple. And I think ultimately I use almost all the main calls and all the wallet features I could. It was kind of like you look up what you want to do, you plug it into your code, and it works. It was that simple. So I did everything basically that was available to me.
Great. And we'll go back to Tyler. So as we wrap up this interview, I want to know what's next for you guys. So what are you guys currently working on in your project, and what's next for you guys, I guess, in the coming months for your project?
Yeah, it's a real company, and so I'm actually working on this full time. It's quite an effort. We're defining a pretty sizable amount of work where we're actually going through and really defining how users can engage much more deeply in terms of user profiles and professional connections. And so that's really where we're moving towards. We want to be able to give people some publishing tools and other things like that where they can write really in-depth articles, especially regarding science topics and things like that. So we're probably going to be trying to raise a little money for this and actually completely build it out.
Great. Let's move on to Tiago. What's your next steps on your project?
Yeah, so these 4 weeks we're basically just working on the MVP, making sure that it works for the demo purposes. So the whole platform is functional. You can access it via the website. But the next steps will definitely be integrating more input types for the questionnaires and exporting data and being able to analyze the data that you get from a survey, and also integrate rewards that can be bought through the Sway platform. through different kinds of providers.
And Stefan, with Firmament, what are you guys currently working on your project, and what's next in the coming months?
Yeah, I'm working on integrating Firmament into other Slack channels. It's in mine. It's in the Firmament Slack channel, but you cannot just click it into your own Slack. That's what's next. I think I have to refine payment for the token a bit, and well, I probably got to talk to a lawyer about the legal aspects of that. That's one of the things I'm going to do, and yeah, I just think that's the point when I'm going to release it. I'm going to make it into a product. I just signed up here a company for that. I don't know if someone will join me from Germany in this project or from anywhere else. Yeah, we'll see. I hope it will become a real product that sells well.
Great. Definitely would be great to see those additional integrations with Slack. And then Alex, what's next with your project?
I think next step is build a mobile application, more universality for my project, and I think I try to deal with real companies and make loyalty program more universality and over many peoples in my town and other towns, and make it more useful and I try.
Great. And then lastly, we have Drew. Drew, what's next for allowing people to launch their own store and allowing other stores to sell others' products?
Yeah, so I've actually wanted to take this mainstream and kind of grow and build it for a long time, even before OST. But it didn't really have like a good hook or differentiator. So now I have that excuse is gone. So now I think the next step for me is I'm just gonna go all in, potentially get some funding, or I'm in a good spot right now where I've been working a lot on it and I can keep working on it.
Great, and I've listed the link down below. So we didn't watch the videos here because that would be too long, and it's better just to have you guys explain your projects. And thank you all for joining us today. So for those of you that want to check out these projects, you can go over to ost.com, click under the developer tab, and just click on Alpha 3, and you'll see some of these. You'll see their great proofs of concept videos, which make it easier to understand. And yeah, I really hope these projects work out well for you guys. It's great to see that you're using OST technology sort of to integrate a token into your project. And Drew, it was great to see you post an article the other day about OST. So I linked that below, and it's great to see the community come together and just collaborate. Kid Token, which wasn't able to make it today, I think we're going to follow up with him to get his piece in on the podcast version. But thank you to Kid Token as well for making some great videos promoting some OST content. So for the listeners out there that want to learn more, just check the links in the description. You'll see the links to the Alpha 3 challenge. And later today, we'll post a Medium post with a recap of this episode, and we will go and once we get Kid Token's piece for this, we'll publish the podcast, which will be available on iTunes, Castbox, or Spotify, anywhere you guys listen to podcasts. And yeah, Alex, Drew, Stefan, Tygo, and Tyler, thank you guys for joining us live today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.